مادة اللغة الإنجليزية للثالث الثانوي الأدبي. كتاب الطالب Student Book. الوحدة الثانية بعنوان Natural World. الدرس الرابع بعنوان The Earth at Risk، من الصفحة 34 إلى الصفحة 39. مبادرة ضوء لتسجيل الكتب الصوتية للمكفوفين وضعاف البصر بصوت المتطوع حازم التكلة. أولاً، المناقشة Discuss. لدينا صورتان عن الصحراء، الأولى يوجد فيها مجموعة من الجمال، والثانية يوجد فيها مجموعة من الأشجار الجافة. السؤال الأول: Look at the photographs and discuss these questions. A. What kinds of areas do these photos show? الجواب هو deserts. B. What is life like for people, animals and plants in areas like these? الجواب هو difficult. C. What environmental problems are associated with these areas? What are the causes of these problems? How could these problems be solved? الجواب المقترح من دليل المعلم: Problems such as lack of water, sparse vegetation, wind erosion, extreme temperatures. Causes: climate and actions of humans. السؤال الثاني. These words are from the article on page 35. Match each word with its correct meaning. سأقوم بقراءة المفردة ومعناها مباشرة. A. Climate. 4. Weather conditions in an area over a period of time. B. Cultivate. 8. To use land for growing crops. C. Dust. 1. Dry powder made of very small pieces of earth. D. Erode. 3. To destroy slowly. E. Graze. 7. To put animals in a field so that they can eat the grass. F. Soil. 5. What plants needs to grow in. G. Survive. 2. To stay alive. H. Wildlife. 6. Fire that spreads very quickly. فقرة معلومات وحقائق. 1. Every year 5 million hectares of land worldwide become desert. 2. Since the 1950s, 9 million hectares of land in China have turned into desert. 3. Desertification affects 74% of the land of North America. 4. In Africa, 73% of the dry lands are affected by desertification. 5. Dust from African deserts can reach cities in Asia and even Europe. 6. 5,000 years ago, the Sahara Desert was covered with grass and other plants. نهاية فقرة المعلومات والحقائق. ثانياً، القراءة Read. النص الأول. The spread of the desert. Desertification, which is the process in which productive land changes into desert, is an increasingly serious problem in over 100 countries of the world. 1 billion people out of a total world population of 6 billion suffer from its effects. Desertification usually occurs in dry areas where there is no rain and where the climate is harsh. In these places, the top layer of soil is destroyed so that the land can no longer be used for growing crops or grazing animals. This means that people who depend on the land for food have to move to greener areas in order to survive. A proportion of the population may survive by moving, but others may die because of shortages of food and water. Although natural changes in the climate often start the process, the activities of human beings are often the real cause of desertification, because there are growing numbers of people to feed. Farmers tend to overcultivate their land, with the result that the soil becomes poor and unproductive. Other farmers overgraze their land, and this permanently kills off grass and other plants. In addition to the effects of farming, deforestation or the cutting down of trees also erodes the soil. Trees are usually cut down to make more agricultural land, but once there are no longer trees or plants on an area of land, there is nothing to stop the wind and rain from blowing or washing away the top layer of soil. The dust which this produces can travel long distances and affect the health of people living in cities thousands of kilometers away. But this is not the end of the story. Desertification can create conditions which produce strong winds and dangerous wildfires, and this leads to even greater pressure on the Earth's most precious resource, water. نهاية النص الأول. السؤال الثالث. What are the causes of problems described in this article? الجواب المقترح من دليل المعلم هو no rain, harsh climate, top layer of the soil destroyed, overcultivation and overgrazing, and finally deforestation. ثالثا التحقق من الفهم. Check your understanding. Listen to the article again and match each sentence beginning A to D with the correct ending 1 to 4. سأقوم بقراءة النهاية بعد البداية مباشرة. A. A sixth of the world's population 2. is affected by the problem of desertification. B. Severe climate conditions 1. can destroy the top layer of soil. C. If the top layer of soil is destroyed, 4. The land cannot be used for farming. D. People who cannot escape from the desert areas, 3. are in danger of dying from starvation. السؤال الخامس. What does the word "it's" in the third line of the text above refer to? الجواب هو "It's" refers to desertification. نهاية السؤال الخامس. رابعاً فكر ثم تحدث. Think and speak. السؤال السادس. Discuss these questions with other students. In some parts of Africa, desert areas are becoming green again. What can be done to slow down the process of desertification and speed up this greening process? خامساً المفردات vocabulary. السؤال الأول. Complete this text with appropriate words from the list below. قائمة الكلمات هي average, cloudy, cold, crops, dry, hot, lightning, rain, stormy, sunny, and weather. نهاية قائمة الكلمات. سأقوم بقراءة الكلمة المناسبة للفراغ بعد نهاية جملة الفراغ مباشرة. بداية النص الموثق بالسؤال. How is climate different from weather? Weather is what happens to the air and the atmosphere outside. It may be cold or فراغ. الجواب هو hot. Wet or فراغ. الجواب هو dry. It can be calm or فراغ. الجواب هو stormy. Clear or فراغ. الجواب هو cloudy. The atmosphere changes depending on whether it's rainy or فراغ. الجواب هو sunny. Thunder and فراغ are also part of weather. الجواب هو lightning. Climate, on the other hand, is the فراغ, weather in particular place over a long period of time. الجواب هو average. A place where it doesn't فراغ over many years has a dry climate. الجواب هو rain. A place with low temperatures for most of the year has a فراغ climate. الجواب هو cold. Here in Syria, we celebrate wet weather because we need the rain Information about climate is useful for فراغ forecasting. الجواب هو weather. It also helps farmers to know when it is the best time to plant their فراغ. الجواب هو crops. نهاية نص السؤال. نص السؤال بعد توزيع جميع الكلمات إلى فراغاتها الملائمة سيكون كالتالي. How is climate different from weather? Weather is what happens to the air and the atmosphere outside. It may be cold or hot, wet or dry. It can be calm or stormy, clear or cloudy. The atmosphere changes depending on whether it's rainy or sunny. Thunder and lightning are also part of the weather. Climate, on the other hand, is the average weather in a particular place over a long period of time. A place where it doesn't rain over many years has a dry climate. A place with low temperatures for most of the year has a cold climate. Here in Syria, we celebrate wet weather because we need the rain. Information about climate is useful for weather forecasting. It also helps farmers to know when it is the best time to plant their crops. السؤال الثاني. Discuss these questions in pairs or groups. A. Describe the climate of your country. Talk about the weather at different times of the year and different times of the day. B. What would be your perfect climate? الجواب هو أي جواب يقترحه الطالب. سادساً. السابقة prefixes miss and re. ملاحظة note. A prefix is a word or group of letters which is added to the beginning of a word and changes its meanings. Example: misunderstand means to fail to understand something correctly. Miss means wrongly. نهاية الملاحظة. السؤال الثالث. Match the two prefixes below with these meanings. Again, wrongly or badly. 1. السابقة re. I spelled T on my homework, so I had to rewrite it. During the storm, 3 houses were destroyed and had to be rebuilt. الجواب هو again. السابقة الثانية miss. I misheard you. I thought you said we'd meet at 9 o'clock. The children were very good. None of them misbehaved in any way. الجواب هو wrongly or badly. سابعاً pronunciation. لدينا السؤال الرابع والخامس والسادس أسئلة استماع. القواعد grammar explanations and results. أسئلة القواعد المرافقة للقاعدة التي ذكرتها الآن موجودة في كتاب الأنشطة في الصفحات من الصفحة 84 إلى 85. السؤال الأول. Which word or phrases in these sentences from the article on page 35 introduce explanations? A. Some people move to greener areas in order to survive. الجواب هو in order to. B. Because there are growing numbers of people to feed, farmers tend to overcultivate their land. الجواب هو because. C. Trees are usually cut down to make more agricultural land. الجواب هو to make. السؤال الثاني. For the 3 sentences above, write questions with why. مثال 1a. Why do some people move to greener areas? الجواب للجملة B وللجملة C هو B. Why do farmers tend to overcultivate their land? C. Why are trees usually cut down? السؤال الثالث. Answer these questions with your own ideas using explanation words or phrases. A. Why do some farmers overcultivate or overgraze their land? B. Why do some countries need more agricultural land? C. Why is the problem of desertification getting worse? D. Why do some people die in desert areas? الجواب هو أي جواب يقترحه الطالب بما يتوافق مع النص المطروح مسبقا. السؤال الرابع. Which words or phrases in these sentences from the article on page 35 link in action with the result? A. The top layer of soil is destroyed so that the land can no longer be used for growing crops. الجواب هو so that. B. The activities of human beings are often the real cause of desertification. الجواب هو are, the real cause of. C. Farmers tend to overcultivate their land, with the result that the soil becomes poor and unproductive. الجواب هو with the result that. D. This leads to even greater pressure on the Earth's most precious resource, water. الجواب هو this leads to. السؤال الخامس. Complete these sentences with your own ideas. A. More and more forests are being cut down with the result that. B. Dust from Africa, which reaches large modern cities, is the cause of. C. Forests are cut down so that. D. Some areas of land are being reclaimed from deserts. This can lead to. الجواب لهذه الأسئلة هو أي جواب يقترحه الطالب بما يتناسب مع القاعدة المطروحة. السؤال السادس. Discuss one of these two environmental problems in groups. Describe the problem and talk about the results. 1. Flooding is caused by rising sea levels. 2. Pollution resulting from industry and traffic. Writing. Task. You are going to write a reply to an email on water shortage, suggesting ways of consuming less water. نص الرسالة الإلكترونية. Dear كذا وكذا. One of the most important issues in the 21st century is the scarcity of fresh water. A lack of water represents major hurdles to human development. Aside from fulfilling our need to drink, fresh water also plays a central role in agricultural production. Water preservation is a major global challenge. Greater development and perpetually increasing population has led to unprecedented demands on all of our resources, which has in turn led to an increased water shortage. This has prompted Syria to support new water conservation programs, which improve the efficiency of irrigation systems in rural areas. This includes empowering local cooperatives in the implementation of their knowledge to help improve lives through the conservation of water. Ultimately, we need to curtail the unwarranted consumption of water if we are to prevail over the challenge facing Syria today. Do you have any suggestions about how average Syrians can contribute to cutting back on water? Please let me know your ideas. Many thanks, Dr. Abdul Hamid. نهاية نص الرسالة الإلكترونية. Write a reply to the above email suggesting ways in which Syrians can consume less water in their day-to-day lives. Make the email around 100 to 120 words and include 2 or 3 suggestions. نهاية الدرس.